Majority and everything. Use food. Because I'm going to batho ba go ipotsa go chesa yana di lamba go etsagalang ka tsone ke batho ba go ipotsa go chesa yana di lamba go etsagalang ka tsone ra bobola image now yeah, but
as we know, say finally we are going to refer him to the DC. Because everybody wants to say we are mom and the AG we see why are we mom either we see the DC or not commissioner of
integrity. No, Tanzania I go integrity commissioning voluntarily. If I say then let I act.
So
DC, we are integrity commission or expectation for him going that integrity commission and then after and then we'll take it from there. Before you know.
Colleagues, are we ready? Ready. SBC, are we ready? Are you ready, SBC? UFM, are you ready? Our Daily News, are you ready? Our live stream, are you ready? Sorry? Yeah, no, this year. Yeah. Let me fill out our nice and busy. No, thank you very much, colleagues from the different media houses, and welcome to this media briefing of the Provincial Executive Committee of the ANC of the Northwest. The Provincial Secretary, Comrade Louis Di Remelo, will lead the statement of the Provincial Executive Committee meeting which was held yesterday here in Rustenburg. Over to you, Provincial Secretary.
Well, good morning or good afternoon. The leadership from the media houses who are here, and good afternoon to our the viewers at home, listeners at home, in particular the people of the Northwest. The media release is dated the 27th of August 2024, and this is the statement of the ANC after the Provincial Executive Committee meeting, which we held on the 26/08/2004. The ANC in the Northwest convened its ordinary Provincial Executive Committee meeting in Bojanala region, Rustenburg Civic Center on the 26th of August 2024. The meeting sat during the Women's Month as the organization celebrates the revolutionary bravery of women of 1956, such as Mary Ruth Sekgomotsi Mompati, Me Rita Nzanga, Me Helen Joseph, and Lillian Goi, and many other women of our struggle. A collective of women who led one of the historic protests on the 9th of August 1956. Over 20,000 of women of all areas from all areas and races marched to the union buildings in Pretoria to demand their freedom movement. The ordinary Provincial Executive Committee also meets 3 months post the provincial and national elections. The ANC in Northwest is pleased with the performance of 58.28% of electoral support. We wish to thank the majority of our Northwest people for bestowing their confidence again in the ANC. This election set a new paradigm shift in the broader politics of South Africa, which brought about a government of national unity at the national level. As this leadership in the Northwest, we are committed to our people that we shall never fail them, rendering basic services to our communities that remains our priority. On the state of our regions, we have 4 regions which include Bojanala, Dr. Rusi Khumutsi Mompati, Dr. Kenneth Kaunda, and Nwangaka Mondirmolema. The Provincial Executive Committee reflects extensively on the state of our region. The analysis demonstrates that due to a concerted focus on elections, regional executive committees have not been meeting as required and as a result affected the functionality of most of the ANC branches. The regional executive committees are charged with the responsibility to monitor the performance of our municipalities, which are the core phase of the service deliveries, while our branches are expected to hold our councillors accountable for their communities in wards. It is therefore become a business of the Provincial Executive Committee to make sure that these structures are functional. The PEC resolved that it will conduct an assessment trail, the era of branch campaign, in all ANC branches in the province during the month of September. The assessment will be conducted in the context of branch functionality metrics, which will dictate what it means by a branch in good standing. This will assist the ANC in its endeavor to rebuild and renew the organization in the province. The Provincial Executive Committee has further deliberated on Dr. Kenneth Kaunda region and its agent need to go to a regional conference. Consequently, the PEC resolved to appoint an interim regional committee consisting of former and experienced leaders of our movement as well as the younger generation. This task team will be tasked with the responsibility to rebuild branches and take the region to a conference. The following comrades have been appointed. Comrade Mapetle is the convener. Comrade Nikiwe Nam, the deputy convener. Comrade Nathan Oliphant, coordinator. The Comrade Ntombi Koloti, the deputy coordinator. Comrade Patrick Motwa, fundraiser. Additional members will be as follows: Comrade Pinky Moloi, Comrade Modesa Sichiro, Comrade Opa Mahoshani, Comrade Mpo Motapula, Comrade Pesi Mokabi, Comrade Wanda Muilwa, Comrade Princess Mukutsani, Comrade Godfrey Kwalabile, Comrade Happy Saudi, Comrade Wendy Makete, Comrade Fikile Mashope, Comrade Mimi Maleshani, Comrade Bian Nzimela, Comrade Selina Muabi, Comrade Disebo Motaum, Comrade Laurel Albrams, Comrade Irene Motetwani, Comrade Koliswa Ngenkela, Comrade Kutala Nchangela, Comrade Tandi Chikanza. With the state of the leagues and the alliance, the ANC is indeed pleased with the state of relationship with the alliance partners being SANCO, South African Communist Party, and COSATU. The Alliance Secretariat, despite few challenges, have proven to be an effective platform for internal engagement, and to this effect, several decisions have been canvassed at that level. Over and above the Secretariat Forum, the ANC is jubilant on the contribution of the alliance partners in galvanizing support for the ANC during the provincial and national elections. The ANC further enjoys a cordial organizational relationship with its leagues, your ANC Youth League, your ANC Veterans League, and your ANC Women's League. The PEC resolved to capacitate the elections machinery of SASCO and support all PYA structures. We also acknowledge the esteemed contribution of the Women's League and our veterans during the elections campaign. In particular, the availability of the veterans has managed to diminish the elements of those who claim the heritage of Umkhonto weSizwe. An update on the report of Kgalema Motlantle. The NEC of the ANC has adopted the Kgalema Motlantle report last year. The NEC further directed that the province must lead the implementation of such a report. Inter alia, the province were advised to make an assessment of all the wards that are affected by the report. The ANC has already implemented the recommendation in a number of wards in the province. Corrective measures have been effected in 2 wards already, namely your Ward 1 in Matlosana and Ward 18 in Moses Kotane, where councillors were requested to resign and go for by-election. The ANC successfully managed to retain both wards. A political assessment has been conducted in other 9 wards, where the findings point to community satisfaction in 7 wards, and the other 2 wards, indications are that further assessment must still be done before taking a final decision. Before the end of September, the province intends to have concluded the chapter pertaining to the report of Kgalema Motlantle report. This is the report where councillors were not elected correctly. On local government assessment, in 2022, the Provincial Executive Committee met with all councillors in Rio Matlosana to present to them the local government barometer document, which seeks to monitor the performance of municipalities and individual councillors. We wish to put this on record because there were some people who wanted to accuse the leadership of the ANC of targeting certain individuals in municipality. The midterm assessment of municipalities and councillors is part of our program of action which was adopted long ago, and at the helm of our intention is to stabilize our council and enable them to deliver basic services to our people. The issue of non-performance cannot be tolerated ever again in the ANC. The ANC visited all 22 municipalities in the province during the assessment, accompanied by the RECs. The assessment focused on a number of issues, among others the functionality of the ANC caucuses, putting our people first, delivering basic services, good governance, building capable government, local economic development. The assessments also focused on the performance of our councillors, particularly the troikas, your mayors, speakers, and chiefs, inclusive of other key performance indicators which are contained in the ANC local government barometer document. Emanating from the through assessment, among other decisions, the ANC have taken a decision to redeploy the mayor of Kagisano Molopo, Comrade Tshireletso Marubutse, the executive mayor of Matlosane, Comrade James Ntsolela, who is already replaced by Comrade Fikile Mahlope, the mayor of Taung municipality, Comrade Dumisam Khao Railway, and Comrade Clifford Hoop, who is the mayor of Naledi local municipality. These decisions was taken in a spirit of strengthening and adding capacity in our various municipalities, but also redeploying some of to areas where their skills and expertise are needed most. The assessment was also a concern about the functionality of our political caucuses in municipality. On that score, the ANC resolved to redeploy the Chief Whip of Matlosana, local municipality, Comrade Kaya Dingete, the Chief Whip of Naledi, local municipality, Comrade Lechweni Ramutibedi, the Chief Whip of the Ketlen local municipality, Comrade Amokhelan Selaledi, and the replacement of the Chief Whip of Rastime, Comrade Louisa Mabi. The ANC reiterates its commitment to make sure that the Northwest Municipality provides services to our people without fail. The leadership of the ANC will continue to supervise these municipalities. On unemployment, the meeting reflects vigorously on the high unemployment rate in the province, which currently accounts for alarming 50% plus. The PEC has taken into cognizance the initiative announced by the Premier, which relates to employment drives, which Comrade Premier announced during the opening of the 7th legislature. Amongst those is how government is responding to our manifesto priority in terms of industrialization. We therefore commend government for availing a number of mega infrastructure projects announced, which we believe will yield hundreds and thousands of job opportunities in the province. The tourism sector and the local economic opportunities prevailing in the municipality possess a huge opportunity to create jobs for our people, especially the youth. The ANC is determined to fight unemployment in the province and make sure that this monster is defeated. Therefore, we will be monitoring closely the implementation of the project and make sure that they succeed without hindrance. On gender parity matter, the National Executive Committee of the ANC has issued a vivid instruction to the province to comply with our gender parity policy in terms of constituting our Provincial Executive Committee. The ANC is finalizing this matter and will announce its decision in due course. On the matter of the Deputy Speaker of the Provincial Legislature, the ANC has resolved that the official resignation letter from Comrade Tsepo Khoza, relinquishing himself from the position of the Deputy Speaker of our Provincial Legislature. This, of course, emanates from the allegation which has been roaming around with regard to his alleged misrepresentation of qualification. Comrade Khoza did so in order to afford himself time to deal with this allegation. And as the ANC, we will observe the process and get counsel upon conclusion of the matter. The ANC is in the process of verification of all its public representatives to make sure that this matter is put into rest. We must also explain that expectation from this one is that Comrade Khoza to refer himself to the Integrity Commission of the ANC. Failing to do that, we will have to take action as the ANC. On the communication protocol of the ANC is very concerned about the abuse of various social media platforms which ANC members use to vilify the name of the ANC and its leaders. The matter was raised clearly last year, February, in our ANC Lekgotla, particularly about many WhatsApp groups that contribute to disseminating wrong and negative narrative about our organization. We want to caution our ANC members in particular that the ANC has long adopted a communication protocol, document which advises and regulates the use of social media in the context of the ANC communication policy. It is very important for the ANC members to raise issues, if there are any, within the structures of the ANC, starting at their branches. The communication protocol does not necessarily prohibit comrades from enjoying their freedom of speech. However, vilifying and writing the categorical statements about the ANC and its members and its leaders will not be tolerated any further. The ANC will in the near future be left with no option but to subject its members to disciplinary process who abundantly continue to transgress the ANC, the Constitution and its policies. Members of the ANC are therefore urged to desist from these activities and rather help the ANC to unite instead of sowing divisions. On coalitions, the ANC in the process of reviewing its coalition arrangements in the province. A broader framework and a draft statement of intent has been drafted and presented to the possible partners that will cooperate within various municipalities where coalitions are necessary for the stability of those municipalities and uninterrupted provisions of basic services. Once upon all the partners have agreed on the set of values and principles, further communication in this regard shall be done. Important to note that most principles that are guiding the government of national unity shall be applicable in our engagement. We want to thank, and that's where our statement will end.
Thank you very much, Provincial Secretary. Now, colleagues, we will take one set of hands for questions and clarity, if there are any, and we will then allow the officials to respond to those questions. Now, let's start with the first set. By show of hands, colleagues, can I have? So number one will be the SABC. Number two, it's UFM, I think. Do we have only two questions? Or number three will be Date Baje. I think in that order. Yeah, in that order.
Thank you very much. My name is Tabiso Moss from SABC. My question is on the redeployment of some political leaders in the local government. So maybe just to check, firstly, I heard the Provincial Secretary using the word redeploy. So I think maybe they are shifting them from their current positions to the other. So I would just want clarity on that. Where are you taking these comrades? Where is this deployment? And then maybe the second one is about, when you spoke about the redeployment of some of your political leaders in municipalities, you said it's following the assessment that you have conducted few weeks ago. So does that mean the ANC is satisfied that all its political leaders in local government, those who are serving in trackers, your chief whip, your speaker, and the mayor, in all municipalities, you are satisfied about their performance, that they are providing proper leadership in these municipalities? Hence, you did not redeploy, you only deployed few of them, as compared to many of them, taking into consideration the state of municipalities in the province that people are complaining about basic services. So does that mean you are satisfied about the ones that you did not redeploy? And then I don't know how many questions should I ask. Am I allowed to ask 4, 5? Okay, it's fine. And then on the same issue of redeployment of this ANC leaders in municipalities, the exercise that you undertook as the ANC in the province, I remember last year the NWC visited the province, and then there was a report that was compiled to the NEC. It also spoke to the issue of the state of local government in the Northwest. So the exercise that you've conducted, is it different from that one? I remember one of the ANC employees who was based here in Rustenburg, is it Mokhomuzia, if I remember very well. So is this exercise that you undertaken different from the one that was undertaken by the NWC? Okay, no, I think I remember some of the questions. It's many of them, so I forgot. I come with the next round. Thank you.
Okay, the next one.
Dumelang, ke Mosapin Modise from UFM. So my question is around the Deputy Speaker of the Northwest Provincial Legislature. So he has resigned. Is that position still vacant for Sanko? Or as the ANC, are you going to fill that position with anyone from the Alliance? Secondly, it's about the relationship between the ANC and its alliance partners. From time to time, we hear from the alliance talking about this, I don't know how to characterize it, but not so a happy relationship they have with the ANC. They released a statement and spoke to the media after the Premier appointed his executive. And recently in the Bojanala, they also addressed the media about their unhappiness with how the ANC is handling this relationship between them. So how best can you describe your relationship with the alliance in the province? And the last one, the Kgalema Motlanthe report. It seems, and I might be wrong, but it's one of the long-standing reports that you are yet still to implement. Why is that?
Okay, the last one, Tademaj.
All right. Thank you. My name is Obakem Magia from W Daily News. My first question, the Provincial Secretary, you mentioned that ANC would embark on a branch campaign to ensure that all the branches are functional. Why the ANC has decided to embark on that issue? Is it because they fear that what is happening in other provinces might also occur in Northwest? As we understand that ANC has lost power in some of provinces. The second one, on the issue of the Deputy Speaker of the Northwest Provincial Legislature, Ntate Tshepo Khosa, is ANC only going to remove or removed him from the Deputy Speaker position, or you could also ask him to resign as MPL? And then Sanko, to add on my colleague what he mentioned, the relationship between ANC and Alliance. Sanko said ANC has moved with a lightning speed to remove Ntate Tshepo Khosa without giving it more time to investigate. But there are some other NPLs who are also in the same position, meaning they don't have necessary qualifications. Is ANC aware of that? And then what it will do? On the other issue, you mentioned that you're going to address unemployment. As we know that Northwest is the #1 province in South Africa with high rate of unemployment. What are you going to do to ensure that you reduce high rate of unemployment? Still on unemployment issue, your colleague from Gauteng, Johannesburg sub-region, Ntate Dada Morero, said that they might consider, even though he apologized, he suggested that foreigners should be enlisted as JMP officers. What is your take as ANC in the Northwest on that delusional statement from your colleague? Do you think that ANC has creme de la creme of leaders to choose from, or maybe we don't have leaders who could lead? Lastly, we have the issue of Ntate Moreng, who is the ANC Youth League chairperson in the province and also serving as the MEC of Community Safety. Is ANC aware of the allegations that the rape that took place, it actually took place in the room that was booked for Ntate Moreng at Protea Hotel? Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. The officials may respond, starting with the chair of the province.
No, thank you very much, Program Director. And let me take this opportunity to again extend our greetings to all the media houses that are here today, and to the people of the Northwest and the membership of the African National Congress. Now, Thabiso Mos, on the question of redeployment, obviously it is our policy as the African National Congress that from time to time we'll do assessments of our deployees at all levels. And you will know that our deployees, they have different expertise in different fields. So as and when we do these assessments, we will then come to a conclusion that a certain member of the African National Congress is deployed in a certain position, and we might come to a conclusion that we don't think that he is suitable for that position, but is suitable somewhere else. And in the course of doing our work, we will shift our deployees around. It is just like when the president reshuffles his cabinet or the premier reshuffles his cabinet. You will take all those things into consideration and make sure that you use the expertise to the benefit of the African National Congress, but not only the African National Congress, including the people of the province, to ensure that we speed up our agenda. So these comrades who have been redeployed, they are redeployed in different areas and so on. And we don't have to go into details because you might have realized that the list is a bit long. So they've been redeployed and we have done this exercise and we are satisfied as the ANC that we have done the correct thing. Now, the assessment which we have done, which took us more than 2 weeks, of all our municipalities. And the Secretary indicated that we were guided by the 6 pillars which he has outlined in terms of all these municipalities and so on. So clearly, we have found that there are challenges in some municipalities. That is why this intervention. And it does not mean that there are no challenges in other municipalities, because intervention is not only about deployment and redeployment. It's also about capacity building. It's also about empowerment. It's also about ensuring that people work as a team. They work together and so on, and ensure that they achieve the intended objective. So intervention is about a lot of other things. It's not only about removing a person from this position to that other position. So this is what you might want to understand. So there are challenges in a number of municipalities, and we are intervening, and we are intervening decisively. And we are working together with our deployees in the provincial government. And you will realize that the provincial government is also making the necessary interventions in a number of municipalities to ensure that all our municipalities in the Northwest are stable. So this is the work that we are doing, and we are quite satisfied that we are doing what is expected of us, and we shall continue to monitor. That is why we said to all our RECs that one of their key responsibilities is to ensure that on a daily basis they work together with these employees in order for us to ensure that our people get or receive the services that they expect from the African National Congress. Now the NWC, when it was here, it made its observations. And that report went to the National Executive Committee. And the National Executive Committee of the ANC considered the report and resolved on the report, and instructed the Provincial Executive Committee of the ANC to act on that report. And we have already acted on the report. That's why you will realize that there are interventions that we have made in Moses Kotani, there are interventions that we have made in Bojanala district. There are interventions that we have made in Matlosana and so on. So we have implemented to a large extent the NEC decision on what is it that we need to do in these different municipalities. But the report of the assessment is also assisting to say that it is not only in those areas, it is also in other areas. That's why you see that the intervention is now holistic to attend to all the challenges that we have in all our municipalities in the Northwest. Now, Motlhapi, UFM. The deputy position speaker in the legislature is not for a specific alliance partner. Alliance partners, all of us, we were involved in the list process. And in that process, there are guidelines that we needed to follow. One of the paragraphs in that guidelines indicates that when we deploy people in different areas, whether it's the legislature, national parliament, and so on, we must take our alliance partners on board. Our list must be in such a way that it accommodates everybody, and so on. So all of us, we are now in the legislature. Now, everybody who is in the legislature is a deployee of the African National Congress. Now, as it relates to other responsibilities, which is your premiership, your MECs, your speakers, and so on, those are but just added responsibilities to the entire collective, which are the employees of the ANC. So there is no position that belongs to anybody. Those positions are positions of the ANC. Will assess amongst all the employees of the African National Congress in that institution that who amongst them is fit and proper to can occupy the position of the deputy speaker. And once we have resolved on that matter, which we are going to do very soon, we shall communicate as to who is going to occupy the position of the deputy speaker. So it's not a position that is reserved for a specific alliance partner. There is nothing like that in our guidelines or in any document of the African National Congress. I'm not sure about the unhappiness which you are talking about from the alliance partners. I've not received any and so on, but what we know from our side is that the working relationship between us and our alliance partners is harmonious. There is a warm breeze atmosphere between all the alliance partners in the Northwest Province. So if somebody somewhere said something is something that we'll look at, the Secretary was saying, the Secretariat of the Alliance is meeting regularly to process issues and so on, and they will always come to the PDC and say, this is what we are recommending, this is what we are suggesting. That includes the Alliance Political Council, which also sit and look into challenges that we have and so on. And you might have realized that for quite some time, this thing that we are talking about has not been happening in the Northwest, where all of us, we pass each other as the alliance partners and so on. But obviously, in some instances, there will be issues that might be raised somewhere and so on. So we'll have to attend to those issues if they are raised. But there are internal processes and internal mechanisms within the alliance partners in order to resolve whatever dispute that might arise. The Kgalema Motlanthe report is not taking forever. You must remember that this is 2024. When the Kgalema Motlanthe report was adopted by the National Executive Committee of the ANC, we were preparing as well for the provincial and national elections. And in the process, we had to say, for now, let's put the report in abeyance and focus on elections. And we had to focus on the elections. But on the sidelines, we said those other regions that are able to continue the implementation of the Kgalema Motlanthe report must do so. And that is why the report says to you now that we have implemented this report in a number of wards in the Northwest Province. We have now directed all the regions to complete this exercise. And we said by end of September we should have completed the exercise, and we shall do so. Because we didn't want to go to the next local government elections with the report still not being implemented. So we are working on it, and we are moving with the necessary speed. In actual fact, not the necessary speed, with velocity to ensure that this matter is concluded once and for all. The National Executive Committee of the ANC, Daily News. Is it Daily News? Down Daily News. Has taken a decision. Now, when you are in an organization as big as the African National Congress, you need to do an assessment of your structures from time to time. You need to assess whether your structures are fully functional, whether your structures are doing what is expected of them, and so on. So this exercise is very important. Because whilst we are a liberation movement, at the same time we are a party that is contesting elections. Now, when you are a party that is contesting for elections, it means you need to have vibrant structures of the movement on the ground. Because if you don't have structures of the movement on the ground that are vibrant and functional and so on, you might have difficulties come elections. So we are doing this exercise to ensure that the ANC is ready for any eventuality, whether it's elections or it's any other thing. Because we always say that Amanda Asemasebe, which means branches of the ANC are that is the power, the most powerful unit of the movement. Now, if the most powerful unit of the movement, which is supposed to be taking decision, is not effective, is not vibrant, and so on, it means the movement is not operating as expected. So this assessment, we are not only doing it in the Northwest, by the way, we are doing it nationally. You might have realized that just last weekend, the National Working Committee of the ANC was in KwaZulu-Natal. And it will be going to other provinces and so on, and we are doing the same thing in the Northwest. So we are going to rebuild, because we said there are three main things that we need to achieve as the ANC. That is rebuilding structures of the movement. Secondly is to renew structures of the African National Congress and unite the ANC in the province and in the country as a whole. So this is part of that process. We are putting that thing into action. So this is the work that we are doing, and we shall continue to do it on a regular basis. Now, we are guided by policies of the movement and principles of the movement. Now, in the ANC, we have a rule which we call a step-aside rule, which was adopted by the National Executive Committee of the African National Congress. Now, that step-aside rule is very clear. But when you are a public representative and you find yourself being in conflict with the law, or there are serious allegations made against you and so on, you must step aside from a position that you have been given. And in this instance, Comrade Khoza has stepped aside as the Deputy Speaker of the Legislature. But that step aside rules goes further to say, one of the things which we must do as this leadership is to regulate the participation of that member in that institution. But once it is found that indeed it is 100% true that there was misrepresentation of qualifications, Comrade Khoza knows what he's supposed to do. But now we have directed him to go and appear before the Integrity Commission and explain himself. And once that exercise is done and so on, we'll take further action as the African National Congress. But that goes to the other question that you have posed, that there is this rumor that says others might be in a similar situation and so on. So we don't act on the basis of rumors as the ANC. We act on the basis of facts. There must be facts before us. And when there are facts before us, we then act on the basis of those facts. And that's why the Secretary was saying, we are now completing our verification process, verifying the qualifications of all our public representatives. Once we have done so and so on, we'll then be able to say, no, there is nobody who misrepresented his qualification, it was only Khoza, or there are others who misrepresented their qualifications, and therefore this is the action that must ensue. So we are busy with that process, and we are quite satisfied as the ANC that we are doing quite well. There's nothing that the investigation of Khoza was quick and so on. There's nothing like that. There's nothing that was quick, etc., etc. Other things that are on the media, that are on different platforms, when allegations are on, we'll have to interact with those.
And I must hasten to say, by the way, that before we instructed our deployee to do what is right, we met with the leadership of SAMCO as this leadership. We called them the top 5. No, it's top 6. They're 6. The top 6. We said we have this situation. There are these policies in the African National Congress. There are these rules. Certain things need to be done, and so on. We are taking it on board as our alliance partners. And all of us in that meeting, we were singing from the same hymn book, that the action that the ANC is saying must be taken is the correct action. So I don't know where to get that story from. We were with them in a meeting. Where was the meeting? Was it here? Yeah, it was in Rustenburg, the municipality that other side. We were with them there for almost the whole day, and we ate lunch together after the meeting. It was a very nice lunch, the one that we just ate outside. So we have dealt with that matter. So that woman is not there, that woman does not exist, and so on. The deputy chair is going to deal with the issues of unemployment. Is going to deal with those issues of unemployment. Now, we are not going to answer on what the mayor of Johannesburg has said. It is not our responsibility. The mayor of Johannesburg, together with the leadership of the region in Johannesburg, they addressed the media on the issue. The leadership of the ANC in Johannesburg has addressed that issue. So don't expect the Northwest to comment on matters that are being dealt with in another province, which is Gauteng province. So Gauteng is dealing with those issues. So if you have questions on those issues, you are at liberty to talk to Panyaza, the chairperson of the ANC in Gauteng, to talk to TK, the secretary of ANC in Gauteng, or to talk to Morero himself, who happens to be the chairperson as well of the Johannesburg region in Gauteng. They will be able to answer those questions. But the only thing that we want to emphasize as the Northwest province, our employment rate in the Northwest is stubbornly high. And that thing is giving us sleepless nights. So we do not have an appetite to be talking about people from other countries being employed when we have our own challenges. And we are attending to our own challenges in the Northwest province. The last point which I want to talk to. We had a discussion with the chairperson of the Youth League, who happened to be the MEC, Comrade Vessels Moeng, about the allegations that you are talking about. And he gave us an indication that those things are not true. That thing, by the way, it did not happen in his home, and it was not done by him. Now, it is very unfair for the media, by the way, that if X committed acts of rape, you must accuse me of rape when it is not me, it's somebody else. We must go to that person, and action must be taken against that rapist, not me. My friend can be my friend, but if he decides to commit an act of rape and so on, that person must be dealt with. It can't be because not therefore and so on. There's nothing like common purpose more raping unless if Lena was involved in that act. So I hope that the media will stop this thing, because this thing of tarnishing the image of the deployees of the African National Congress and the leadership of the African National Congress must come to an end. We all know that Comrade Vessels was not involved in this act. Why are you dragging him into this thing? For what good purpose? What is it that you want to achieve out of this thing, which is not true? This is malice. Deputy Chair.
No, thank you very much, Provincial Chair. I think I must respond to this doubting matter, which is an albatross around our neck, and that relates to the unemployment in the province. I think if you followed
the opening of the legislature, I did indicate a number of initiatives that as government we are going to look into to ensure that we mitigate the high rate of unemployment in the province. One, I think we explained that you will recall we, as a province, from the 6th administration, alongside the BRICS summit in the country, we held a session with potential investors from all over the country and from all over the world. We wanted to say to them, the Northwest is a destination for you to invest. And many of them came, and subsequent to that, we held our investment summit in the province in Sun City. And in that summit, many business people, locally and internationally, came and made pledges to invest in the province, in different sectors of the economy, from mining, agriculture, tourism, manufacturing, water, and so on and so forth. And therefore, on the basis of that, as a province government, we aggregated that into an action plan and a program. And that program had short-term pledges and medium plans and long-term plans. And I can tell you that out of those pledges, the short-term ones, there are already few of them, which are at different stages, and we have delegated that responsibility to the MEC responsible for economic development in the province to run using our Northwest Development Corporation. And as a result of that, we are just engaged in few administrative issues. We are engaging with municipalities, with the Department of Public Works and so on, to finalize what is expected of us. And therefore we believe that through our mega projects that we spoke about in the statement, also through our special economic zones activities, we are going to have projects which, in our view, will assist, and as a result, we will have job creation, and in particular, young people. But also we are in a drive to mobilize, and in particular the mining sector, so that we should be in a position to say, what is our jobs plan in as far as industrialization is concerned? And from that point of view, that mobilization, we are convinced that we are going to create jobs, in particular to mining, but even other sectors, and that will form part and parcel of our jobs plan. But it's important also to raise this that it's quite interesting, because as government we must lead in this process as government. And already at this stage I made a commitment that all vacant funded posts of government must be filled. So as an active major role player as government, we are already there. We have received all funded vacant posts in all departments. We are going to advertise those posts by the end of September, and therefore we believe that would have also made a difference to ensure that our people participate and they are employed on a full-time basis. But already we have signed MOUs. We have signed MOUs as a department, as a government, with the Department of Labor nationally. We have also signed MOUs with the Skills Fund, NYDA, UIF, and already we are at the point of implementation. We believe that in a few weeks from now, you will start to see the rollout of these projects to ensure that our people are appointed. And I think those are initiatives that we believe, Chairperson, that we will then make a difference in ensuring that we mitigate this high rate of unemployment. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Deputy Chair. I think from my deductions of the response, we have covered all the questions that have been asked. But because we don't want to leave any stone unturned, we will allow you for the last round for your questions. And if there are any, we will be very happy. Because I don't know if SABC wanted to make a follow-up. So we'll afford you that last opportunity. So it's going to be SABC, or you want to come back again? Or the same three? Okay, so in that order, just be straight to the point so that we will at the same time. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Maybe before I forget this one, on the Motlanthe report, the secretary said they are conducting further assessment in 9 wards. Maybe if you can just tell us which wards are those and at which municipalities, so that we are able to know. And then also, do you have a cut-off date of those assessments? And then the second one is about, please allow me to stay with that NWC report, because it was very clear that an urgent attention was needed intervention was needed in Rustenburg, hence the speaker was removed at the time. But the report spoke about, or the NWC was concerned about the executive and administrative leadership in several municipalities, especially in Bojana. I know that you intervened in the Bojana Platinum District. And there were also municipalities such as Moses Kotani. The chair spoke about intervention. I don't remember the intervention. There was also Matibe, if I remember, and Mamusa. And at 8 years you intervened. So there were several municipalities where the NWC members were concerned about the executive and administrative challenges in those municipalities. So where you haven't intervened, why haven't you intervened? But maybe this one, you'll forgive me if I missed it. Those who were removed or who were redeployed using the provincial secretary's way, redeployed, was it because of capacity? They don't have capacity, or what? Thank you very much.
Okay, UFM.
Thanks once again. Still on the issue of redeployment of your members or comrades, Chairperson spoke about the measures they use before redeploying someone. So I want to understand, what measure or barometer do you use to determine if a certain deployee is not fit and proper or suitable for a position he or she is holding? The last one is about interventions, and a number of interventions were made in Moses Kotani and in Khetlen here in the Bojana region, and some of those interventions were simply undermined because those people who were told to resign refused to resign. What do you say to such a check? Thanks.
Okay.
No, thank you, I need clarity on the question that I posed regarding, does ANC has the cream de la cream of leadership? Meaning, does ANC have leaders that we could count on? And then on the other issue, provincial chairperson and Ateno Romaloi, I'm afraid to ask the question because you become emotional. But anyway, you mentioned that that Kosa, you decided to ask him to relinquish the position. But after investigations, after he appeared before the Integrity Committee, you will take it further, and then he knows what to do. Meaning, after, if let's say the Integrity Committee finds him guilty, are you going to remove him in totality out of the legislature, or what will happen? And then the last one is that, unfortunately, as a public servant or a politician, if there are allegations in the public domain, the questions are going to be asked, and I think it will be only fair to answer to that. So, as the media, we are not targeting anyone to tarnish that person's image or not. There are allegations that the rape that took place happened in Ntate Moren's accommodation, that he was booked for by legislature. So that was the question. So the fortunate part is that you called him after you heard the allegations, and then he confirmed to you that it is untrue. So this is the answer that we wanted to get, because we have been sending legal inquiries to his office. He never responded on this matter. So we are not out there to tarnish anyone's integrity or image. Thank you.
Thank you very much. PS, the Motlanthe report, and then the last one will be the...
No, thank you. Honestly, it's true that the Kgalema Motlanthe's report is long overdue. We agree that that report is long overdue, and the regions were given until the month end of August. It means by this weekend, these regions must have finalized on the assessment of this particular assessment. And then the work that are still outstanding as requested, mostly they are in Dr. KK region, is your Ward 6, your Ward 13, your Ward 30, your Ward 10, your Ward 18, your Ward 9, and Ward 33 in the Dr. KK, and one ward in Madibeng, which is Ward 18 in Madibeng. Those are going to be finalized over this particular weekend. And then from there, we will not want to prepare, because we have started to prepare for the 2026 local government with these outstanding questions from our communities in terms of who was supposed to be there, who was not supposed to be there. But also we must indicate the Motlanthe report had more wards, and some of these branches have since said they agree that they are working well with their councillors. There is no need for whether the implementation of the Kgalema Motlanthe or not. They are working very well with their ward councillors. So there's no need for further, this is not only our own branches, but communities, because we take the weight of our communities very serious. When we are doing assessment, we are taking these matters to our community meetings. So I think, Chair, it was the only question that is text for me. I was supposed to, must I give it to the Chair?
Now, I did indicate that we have intervened in most of as per the NEC decision. The chief whip, who is now there, it's a new chief whip that came as a result of that intervention. In Kheteng, as we speak, the chief whip has tendered his resignation. So I'm not sure which defiance are we referring to. Has tendered the resignation. But indeed, I must confirm that in other municipalities, such as Naledi, for an example, we have said our comrades must resign voluntarily. They've not done so in some instances. And we have given them some time frames. We said within a certain period, you should have done so. And those who failed to do so will be appearing before the disciplinary committee of the ANC. And already the secretary has referred those matters to the disciplinary committee of the ANC. You will realize that I'm talking slow this time because somebody was accusing me that I'm intimidated or I'm shouting. So I'm trying to make sure that he must not feel intimidated. So we have done so. I can tell you that the ANC has got a lot of members. The ANC is the biggest population in the country. And we have men and women who are fit for purpose. So we have a lot of leaders in the ANC, an abundance of leaders. That is why even when we appointed the interim regional committee of Matlosana, we had to say, amongst these many comrades, who is the best amongst the best? So we have a lot of leaders. There is a lot of quality in the African National Congress. It is there. Others are not even deployed in your legislature, in your national parliament, in municipalities, and so on. Others are in the private sector, others are in branches. They are all over. Others are in institutions of higher learning. You have a lot of leaders. They are just too many. So we don't have a crisis. We don't have a crisis there. That is why even when we intervene, we are able to replace a person and get another one. And at times it takes longer because we must decide who is best amongst the best, because we have this pool that we have in the African National Congress. You will recall that somebody was saying just a few days ago on the social media, and that person was a member of the DA. I'm not sure whether she's still a member of the DA. That the only party in South Africa, she started by saying sorry for saying this, but the only party in South Africa where there is no cult is the African National Congress. So in the ANC, there is a collective. There are leaders all over the show and so on. The ANC is not managed, administered, or run by one person. So you have a lot. So we don't have a crisis on that area. Now, wait for the Integrity Commission report. We shall make the necessary announcements after that. But obviously, like I said, as individual members of the African National Congress, we know what is the right thing to do. And as the ANC, we have always said, do the right thing as a member of the African National Congress before the ANC takes certain actions and so on. That is why we even say you need to do things voluntarily. If you fail to do things voluntarily, it means the ANC must act. And so on. So even on this one, that's why I said, Comrade Khoza know that immediately after the Integrity Commission and so on, he will know what to do as a member of the African National Congress who understand the policies of the African National Congress. Now the Secretary spoke about the 6 pillars, which he spoke about when we assess our municipalities. But included in that is also the assessment of our own deployees. Those 6 pillars, they tell us as to whether are there challenges in that municipality or there are no challenges. He spoke about the good governance. And obviously when you speak about good governance, you talk about your deployees who are deployed at a political level, whether they are doing the right things or they are not doing the right things. And the right things, amongst others, is that that institution must be able to meet as legislated. They must be able to discuss things that matters to the lives of our people. They must be able to take proper decisions. They must be able to work as a collective. They must be able to translate our elections manifesto into government policy and implement that policy. So it talks to a number of those issues. He also talks about one of the pillars is local economic development. You spoke about unemployment earlier on and so on. But once there is no economic activity in a particular locality and so on, you will have a crisis. Unemployment rate will be high and so on. So there must be some economic activity in that area. So it means your deployees, including those who are deployed at an administrative level, must be able to come up with strategies that will be able to stimulate the economy at a local level. So he spoke about that. We also spoke about
delivery of services, which is one of the pillars. Because if you don't deliver quality services to our people and so on, it means there is a problem. There is a challenge. If people wake up in the morning, there is sewer running on their streets and so on, they can't even eat in their houses and so on. If people wake up, refuse is not collected. If people wake up, the billing system is not up to date and so on. It means there are challenges in the institution. It means those that we have deployed, they are not able to do their work and so on. It also goes to financial management in that particular institution, which is another pillar. You need to be understanding as to whether are you having a funded budget? Is that budget responding to issues that are raised by our people through your integrated development programs and so on and so forth? Are you attending to issues of UIF? Are you paying your third parties and so on? Those are some of the things that we are saying. We were using them in order to assess our deployees, but we said they are 6 in number, and he read them for your benefit. And when we sit on our own, we are then able to say, we have done this exercise in this particular municipality. Where is the problem? We then identify the problem is at a leadership level. And if it is at a leadership level, where at a leadership level? In some instances, we will say, your caucus is not stable. It means your chief whip at that level is unable to provide the necessary leadership and lead that caucus. Your municipality is unable to achieve all these things that we are speaking about. It means your executive mayor is unable at a political level to attend to these issues. Your municipality is in a crisis, serious financial crisis. It means administratively, your MM and so on, they are unable to do what is expected of them. You must therefore intervene in that institution. So those are the things that we are using when we assess our municipalities and our deployees in government at all levels. So we have done that, and we presented to the Provincial Executive Committee, and the Provincial Executive Committee said, no, we need to act here. And by the way, when we act, we don't act because we don't like you. We act because we are taking the interest of our people at heart. Our people are suffering out there. Our people need services. And that's why we said we need people who are fit for purpose in order for them to be able to do this work, which is very important. So our intervention, of course, we agree with you. There are deployees of the African National Congress who are doing what is expected of them. There are those who think that they are bigger than their organization. And we are acting on those. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, the Chair and all of the officials. But also thank you very much to all the media houses, and thank you in advance for reporting correctly. So that we don't put us out of context. Colleagues, that concludes our